Yo.
G'day. How you going, Hex Enthusiast? 43 OG. What's up?
What's going on?
Oh, heaps, mate. Heaps. It's a Friday Arvo. I'm about to crack my first beer of the day. And there is heaps going on in DeFi, in crypto in general, and the RH ecosystem. It's almost hard to keep up.
Hell yeah. I heard there's some bulls around too.
Yeah, 43's bullish. There we go. And we're gonna feed off his enthusiasm. Why are you so bullish, 43?
I've just been listening to that presidential candidate, Vivek
Ramaswamy guy or whatever. Yeah.
And just listening to his thoughts on crypto and crypto regulation and the SEC. Wow. And stuff to do with that, bro. Like that guy awesome. Is
I haven't heard
exactly what DeFi needs. Exactly what DeFi needs.
I heard
he was talking about code is law, like, you know.
Yeah. I heard some of these things and I was like, ooh. I mean, some of this stuff, it's like I'm super keen on, but I also wonder how practical it could be, because the whole Thanos thing where it's like just half of the government gets sacked if their social security number ends in an odd number. I was like, yes, do that. And then I was like, is that actually gonna work? Can you do that? Because I'm all for it. Like, cut it in thirds. Like, why stop at half? Let's go 2/3. Cut it so there's only a third left. I mean, Elon did that, right, with Twitter, and that still works.
Yep.
I haven't seen enough of this, so you're gonna have to cut some clips up for the Hex Late Show to show us all about that. So yeah.
Well, he did an interesting one. I think it was on Valuetainment. Was it? Was that the Vivek Ramaswamy interview that you saw, 43, or was it a different one?
The one I saw was him before he released his crypto policy. He did and I'm not all the way through it, but he did a live stream with some people, and they were just talking about this sort of stuff, and he was sort of relating it to I think he's been in the biomed industry.
I don't know. I actually haven't seen a lot of his stuff, so I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to that.
Yeah, so he was just relating the two, just saying, there's just over regulation, and you've got these agencies doing the what's it called, something by enforcement,
legislation by enforcement or something like that. That's pretty much what SEC have been doing, rather than giving clear guidance and outlines of this is what you need to do. Because there's good actors like the Coinbase guy, Brian Armstrong, and people like that who are like, their entire business model is legitimate. They've floated Coinbase on the New York Stock Exchange. Like, they're trying to meet all the regulations, and there are no regulations for them to meet, so they're just doing their best, and then they get sued and reprimanded. So, and it's like, well, you can't legislate through enforcement. You can't just make up the rules on the spot when no one knows.
Yeah, they have not got the power to do that. They have not got the power to do that in the US, at least. Now, I don't know enough about our Australian situation. I need to learn a bit more about this.
Isn't that interesting? That because
I sent some stuff in our chat, like you guys, you saw, because I put some stuff up there because it just in the last 2 or 3 days. I think it was the 9th.
I can bring some of that up if you want.
Yeah, the ATO, that's the Australian Tax Office, put up some guidelines or some guidance in relation to wrapped tokens or wrapping tokens. So now they're saying that if you wrap tokens, that's a capital gains event.
Oh my goodness.
So
I mean, to be fair, that is slightly retarded, but also
slightly.
So go ahead, because I want to hear what you have to say about it. So
sorry,
yeah,
43.
yeah, so they've just done this, and the question that I ask is, where are they getting this from? Like, how are they like? This is such a specific thing to write. How did they come up with this? Show me where in law they come up with this. Like,
Your mic just went bad, 43.
Your audio just went bad. It might be my end. Sorry for that, because this happened last week when I tried to share
am I
something.
here?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. So the question is, where are they coming up with this? Like, how do they come up with this guidance? Is it just a bunch of people, unelected people, mind you, in a room coming up with rules by which we pay tax? No, that's not the way I thought it worked. Maybe that's the way it works in Australia. I don't know enough about it, so I need to learn more about this.
I agree with you. I don't think that the ATO can just change their website and be like, oh, this is the law now. And like,
exactly.
I agree that, we should all be following the ATO's guidance, and then we do that. And I actually did notice what I was going to say before is Coinly actually does treat wrapped Pulse as separate from Pulse. And when you wrap Pulse into wrap Pulse for providing liquidity, it treats it as a sale. And so I have seen that, and I was like, what? And then but that's the way that it's been done on Coinly. And then so the fact that they've now introduced this on the ATO as a guideline, as a guideline, but it's not law though, is it?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know whether they've got the latitude to interpret at this level, because if they do, I don't think. I feel like that's taking power away from elected politicians, taking power away from them, because they're the ones who should be coming up with this sort of, the rules. They're the ones who, or maybe just don't come up with rules and don't just impose things on us like this. But the other thing that, if you go up on that same page, if you go up, it's got something about lending, and this was
this.
Go a bit further.
That was interesting. Sorry, I've got the neighbors going bananas behind me. So apologies for that.
Yeah, lending and borrowing with DeFi. This is in Australia. So from what I read into this, like, if this is something that, if this is the way I read it, this is not good for liquid loans in Australia, because they're saying the second you, put your Pulse into a contract and then take out stable coins, that would be a taxable event.
Yes, yeah, that's crazy, really.
But, so you might not have a taxable. It might be a loss at the start, but eventually, if the price of the tokens goes up and then you borrow more, it would be, if you follow what they're saying here, that would be seen as a capital gains tax event in Australia, which is favors the incumbents, doesn't it? It favors banks quite a bit, and they've just slipped it in, because once again, where's the legislation that informs this guidance? They're my questions. Where's the legislation, and do they have the latitude to do that?
Yeah,
because
I agree. Changing the website is one thing, but it's not exactly, a law.
But are we living in a time? Are we living in a time where governments and government agencies alike just do whatever they like and wait for someone to complain about it? Is that where we are right now in the world? It seems to me like, am I wrong in saying, like, in the last 3 years, it seems to me it's just like, let's just do what we want and then like deal with the consequences later. And then by the time we get to the consequences part, they're out of office anyway. So there's no real consequences anyway. So, and these people who work there, they're real people who are making this guidance. They're real people. So I just want to know, where are they getting this? Where are they getting this from? Because my accountant will read the website and argue black and blue that is the law.
That is the law. And that's the way I would do it as well, is just follow what the ATO's guidance is.
And I follow what my accountant says, right? But
exactly.
The problem is, like, what am I missing here along the way? Like, if they haven't like produced any legislation, to my knowledge, no legislation of any substance has been developed in Australia in relation to crypto. Where are they getting this from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so maybe there's white papers or blue paper, whatever the term where it's not quite law yet, and they're introducing it, but they may have jumped the gun with this stuff a little bit. But look, I think when governments and stuff overreach and overstep, it's up to the people to hold them accountable. And it's protest, it's voting them out and things like that. So
we're not, that's the problem. We're such a niche that if every single crypto person in Australia was up in arms, it wouldn't make a difference.
It would make a huge difference.
It wouldn't make any difference.
I think it depends how long until they start like really accepting this, because it's almost like they're crushing us from both ends at the moment, because one side the banks are stopping us from, or trying to delay the onboarding of fiat and stuff like that, and obviously trying to put it across that it's almost a scam or could be dodgy, so they put that fear into you, and then they're coming the other end and crushing you with the tax side. So maybe once we'll see what happens when the CBDC stuff starts going on.
Yeah,
if they change their ways, because it seems pretty dodgy. But it'd be nice to see who the face of all these decisions is. Who this person is that's making these calls, if they even know what they're talking about. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. I get the impression that the SEC in the US and maybe some of these other regulatory bodies have been trying to slow the progress of crypto adoption, almost as if they're waiting for BlackRock and these guys to fill their bags and to just the bug eaters, so to speak, as Somi likes to call them. And then shout out to Somi. And Somi actually had an interesting point where he was saying that maybe they might try and orchestrate some sort of financial crash or something like that, which is then it's the fear of when that crash goes down, or some other sort of incident that they fabricate, that they then say, okay, well, you guys are in dire straits. I've got these shiny new CBDCs over here, and we're just going to give them out like free candy. The first taste is free, and then everyone just goes for it.
Do you think they even need to do that? Can't they just because this is so
maybe not. But...
I listened to the assistant director of the Reserve Bank. He made a speech maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, talking on crypto, speaking on crypto, speaking on CBDCs, and talking about this sort of stuff briefly. He was only speaking for about half an hour. So it's not 100% that they're going to go with the CBDC. They've got some other options, I guess, but the thing is that there's going to be a wholesale CBDC, right? And there'll be a retail CBDC. The wholesale one will be for institutions, so that will be to the banks, and then the retail one, the banks will, that will be for us and business.
Interesting. Okay.
So
right.
Now, whether they do it that way or not, ultimately,
but they've all got admin keys. Is that the catch? Is that they've all got? They can just turn it off whenever they want.
Well, they can turn off your money now whenever they want, right? Can't they?
Yeah. Well, unless you're self-custody,
can't they close your account when you want?
And you've got crypto. Yeah. But that's
not
the censorship.
The CBDC is not crypto. The CBDC.
It's just crypto,
digital money, just like what they've got now, and maybe they maintain it on a ledger, like on a blockchain, but it's not going to be. There's going to be admin keys to the blockchain, and they'll be able to do if they want to do it that way. But that's not crypto.
Is why we're,
but they can already. The thing is that they can already shut it down now. The difference will be that they'll just have more. They'll be able to shut it down in different ways. Like they might just be able to limit you to say, we don't want you to go outside this area. So your money just doesn't work outside this zone.
Because it's programmable, right? So So you're saying that you could do the 5-minute cities or whatever, and if you go out of like say 10 kilometers from your residence, then that CBDC doesn't work. Like, or so things like that, like geographically controlling it's where it can be spent.
Yeah. Even the data, though, the way they'll be able to get the data from us, they can do it at the moment, but it'll just be, you know, on overdrive when they've got that going, because they'll.
In terms of tracking your spending.
Yeah, if the cash, like they already do, but if the cash doesn't exist, and if these other ways of, you know, moving money around doesn't exist, they've got all of it, so they can just then see absolutely.
Isn't that ironic?
Everything.
Isn't that ironic that on one hand people will say, "Oh, crypto is dodgy because, you know, it can be used for nefarious purposes," and it's like, no, it's actually the most transparent way because it's all on chain. You can follow it like really well, and then so well that these guys are going to exploit it. The fact that you can track it so well on chain, that's why they want the CBDCs, because you can its ability to be tracked on chain, and yet that in the same sentence they're sort of saying that it's some sort of you know, intangible thing that no one can keep track on. It's like they're having two diametrically opposed, you know, opinions at the same time, and they're both like anti-crypto. And it's like, you can't have both. It's either people are using it because it's not transparent,
they don't like
or
crypto.
it is.
I
know, but it's just the arguments are conflicting.
They don't want it. They
themselves.
don't like it. No, it's look,
because cash is more obfuscatable than crypto anyway, right?
They don't like it either.
You make transact. That's exactly why they don't like it. That's my point. Is that's why they're getting rid of cash, because you can't track that shit. And
we are getting rid of cash. We are getting rid of cash.
Australia,
we've gotten rid of cash. No,
it's nearly gone, mate.
Us, you, me, us three, and
we're zombies that walk around tapping cards everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the only, you know how you make cash not go away? It's really, 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 really simple. Everyone in Australia has to use cash every day. Like keep $100, keep $200, keep $300 in your pocket, and use cash on a regular basis every day. Like whenever you go pay in cash. Like don't always tap the card. If you give cash a use case in Australia, how do they get rid of it?
Well, some people were up in arms, like that Optus outage the other day, and people couldn't get money out and do transactions and things. So that was pretty crazy. That happened in Australia. It'll
take a few of those things to happen for people to really make a move. But the other thing is the places that don't accept cash anymore, we have to be strong enough to, if there is like a movement, you have to walk out. You have to walk out. But it's,
and you tell them why.
Pretty nuts. Yeah.
You tell them why. You say, hey, I would like to spend my money here.
Vote
but I
with your
can't,
dollars.
I can't support a business that doesn't support the freedom to transact in legal tender.
100%, man. That is the ultimate like power that you have is where you spend your money. Two things I was going to say really quickly. Oh, this is actually not what I was trying to bring up, but there's because we were talking about how the ATO have got those changes. There's also a change. There was like I'll have to try and bring it up here. There was something that a proposal that RH was talking about that is affecting in Australia. Do you have the link for that, or can you send it in the private chat?
Yeah. Do I have it on this computer? Hang on.
Let me see if I can.
While you're chatting,
find it again.
We got DJ Credides in the chat from the cruise that was DJing for us, and
he's a legend.
Claz is there. You might be having a sell out, Dozer. She wants a copper bathtub in this ballroom.
Oh my god!
And Dub's there. Right. Dub and who else? Ollie.
Awesome.
Our mate Ollie. Yeah, Finbear. So it's cool to see.
Oh, that's awesome. I should have checked out the chat. Thanks for reminding me, man. Dub Kuda. Yeah. He's a legend.
Dub organised most of the event with Sammy. That was epic.
Yeah. He's
so let's can you bring up the comment that Dub Kuda's brought up?
Unfortunately, because of the RMTP thing that I use, the keys that I use to stream, I can't pull up comments. But
gotcha. Okay.
I can probably fix that at some point, but not for today. But yeah, shout out to Dub and DJ Creditus.
So I'll read it. He's saying, when lending, there is no CGT event if you maintain beneficial ownership of the crypto. On liquid loans, your pulse goes into your vault. You benefit if the vault is if the value of pulse increases. Can we go back to that ATO thing? Because this is
Sure.
this is recent stuff that they're putting up there. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it throws a spanner in the works at the very least, because if you're getting guidance on the ATO website that tells you one thing, but you don't think that is consistent with the law in Australia, well, then you've got a bit of a conundrum, because on one hand, you've got like explicit words on the ATO website telling you one thing, and then your accountant is going to be reading that and thinking, this is the way it needs to be. But then if that's at odds with what you believe the law is, well, maybe that needs to be tested in a court of law.
100%. And I just managed to pull up that Australian government treasury thing. So it just took me a little bit of time to find that. Sorry. Regulating digital asset platforms. So there's 15 days left to have your say. It looks like you just have to email crypto@treasury.gov.au. Check out the proposal. I haven't had time. This was only just saw RH did this the other day, and I retweeted it.
Dude, it's like 60 pages.
Like,
you got to get onto it.
That's how I found it. Yeah, I've got to get onto it. But you can create. We did this with the last proposal. You can create an email with Proton. That's not linked to anything. So you can skip through, when it says if you want to link it to other emails, you can skip through that stuff. So you can create your a separate email and use a VPN if you wanted to, if you were concerned about that. But I think that we should be using some AI, some ChatGPT-4, something like that, to try and really go through this and come up with.
From what I've read so far, yeah, I agree, man. Yeah. I agree. I mean, all Australians should be commenting. Everyone who has something to do with crypto and is interested in crypto, you should comment on this, because
you've got to have your say, right?
We need to let them know what the crypto community thinks about this stuff. Now, from what I understand, this is mostly, for the most part, aimed at third parties, right? I don't think it's regulating digital asset platforms, but that doesn't mean that, okay, well, just let them do what they want to do, because they can make bad rules for digital asset platforms in Australia. So I think we should, go through it and come up with each person come up with comments that, you think will push it in the right direction. Yeah.
And, it is 60 odd pages. So, go through it and make some informed, comments on it if you can. But, this is the thing, that this is the proposed framework that they're putting out, and this is our chance to have a say on it. So, you were saying before about, what do we do when governments try and introduce regulatory framework or things like that? This is what we do. Like, this is one of the very few things that we can do to have a voice, apart from just, putting a letter to your local minister or something. But I think this is much more effective.
For sure. Hey, can you go back to that other page just quickly, the front page of that regulation one? Where are we? The ATO one?
Yep. 2 secs. And what's going on in the chat? Is there, because I have you guys got to keep me up to date, because I'm clicking things left, right, and center. Anyone chatting? Does Claz want any more upgrades to the bathroom, or?
Yeah, she wants diamonds. What else did she want? Diamonds.
Diamond chandelier.
A chateau in Florence.
Oh, no worries. Well, so, easy done.
Yeah.
Easy done. She's got expensive tastes.
Do they have chateaus in Florence?
That one there. On a serious note.
In Tuscany, just outside Florence. We'll get 2.
exactly.
I have to wait.
Since we were
for the bull market for that.
exactly.
I'd like a chateau in Florence as well.
Oh,
Heck
while
yeah.
we're giving out chateaus, we're just you get a chateau, you get
Everyone
a chateau.
does.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'd like a chateau in the French Alps.
Yes, in the Alps, like Switzerland. Oh,
Courchevel,
the Alps up there, even Italian Alps, all that stuff is
the
just
French Alps,
magical.
Courchevel, because you can ski down into Italy from there.
Oh, that'd be
amazing. So, what were you saying, Hex Enthusiast, mate? Sorry to cut you off.
On a serious note, yeah, down the bottom, I clicked that and I asked Alex for help, and I was asking some questions, and she just said, "Oh, just contact Gary the Guzzler, and he'll be able to fill you in." So, yeah,
she just told you to jog on. She's
yeah,
just
exactly.
like,
Yeah, no. Anyway,
you need to buy some
Yes,
CBDCs.
sorry, trying to keep it light. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's funny, man. Speaking of keeping it light, I wanted to make a big call because there's been heaps of stuff happening and in the crypto. But one of the most important things that's been happening is, did you see, drumroll, that Australia is in the World Cup final in the cricket?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Last night. They
Should be
beat
good.
South Africa in the semi-final, and they're going up against India in the final for the World Cup cricket.
That's sick. I didn't get a chance to watch. I've been steering. I've been a steering wheel attendant a bit this week. So, but yeah, I heard it on the news. So
I was watching it last night. We
it's
really
killer.
went down to the wire, and it was it's really cool. So
Where can you get a replay on that? Is that
it's like 9 now or whatever it is. The Channel 9
yeah.
website. It's got it all.
Might suss it
So
out.
I just had it in the background while I'm doing other shit, and I was like, oh yeah, we pretty much should have this in the bag. And then it was just like kept losing wickets, and it was like the equation of kind of you need 45 runs off 90 balls, and you've got 4 wickets in hand, and then it started going down to like you need 25 runs off 35 balls, and you've only got 3 wickets in hand, and it's like
goodness, yeah.
It was really
That's
stressful,
sweet.
but it was awesome. And so hopefully, I think that must be Sunday night is when the World Cup final is. So the Americans watch the show are just like, World Cup baseball? It's like, no, there is a World Cup in cricket as well.
Yeah, there's a World Cup for lots of things, I guess. So
and it's just the Aussies are it is kind of funny how they throw that around. It's like the Mrs. Universe, or like Mr. Mr. Olympia or Miss Universe. They have these things. It's like, you don't know that you're the hottest chick in the universe. You've just claimed that hard. You can't even. We're just claiming, oh, this is the World Cup, the World Series. It's like no one else plays baseball except for like maybe Japan. Like I don't know if you can claim World Series. Like American Series doesn't sound as good, maybe. But,
pretty much. I reckon we should. RH system should smash the crypto World Cup. That's for sure. We'll get it this year or next year for sure. So.
Have we still got the Commonwealth Games? Sorry to interrupt. Have we still got the Commonwealth Games, or did they blow the budget on that and they shut the bed? We were going to have it in like Melbourne or something.
No.
Yeah, and they were like, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They literally had the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah. No,
like,
you don't know the guy who used to be state premier here.
Used to be.
Used to be. No, he stepped down. Right?
Yeah,
he didn't get kicked out. He stepped down. No, this guy
fell down some stairs.
This guy, man, yeah, pushed downstairs. I don't know. This guy, his move was to like get out of contracts and just pay the fine. That was his move.
Yeah, that was what they said. They were like, no. It's like, what is it? It's the Olympics.
Done that before.
It's like, we got it. Oh yeah, no, we changed that.
This was not the first time he did that. I'm talking billions of dollars.
That's dirty pool, hey, to like go in on a bid for the Commonwealth Games, get it, and then just be like, no, well, how much is the fine? No, I can't. It's like you've made a reservation at a restaurant or something, and they're like,
that's crazy.
We're going to charge you.
The thing about it is he wanted to do it out in the middle of nowhere, right? He wanted to do it out somewhere else and then use it as a like, it's win-win. We get to develop that area and build lots of stuff in that area and
makes sense.
Do all this stuff.
Yeah. Stimulate the economy.
Good in theory, good on paper, but that was this guy's whole shtick. Was everything was good in theory and on paper.
And then he did the numbers and went, we're going to make approximately fuck all.
Well, they all lose money, but I think that Victoria was in such bad shape after 8 years of him being in power that, dude, we're like the whole country's in debt, but Victoria has a massive debt. Our debt is like, it's horrendous.
Next level.
It's horrendous.
Sorry to interrupt with that thing about the Commonwealth Games. What were you going to say before that, if you can remember? Because I kind of interrupted you.
I don't
you
know.
can't remember?
You're talking to me or 43?
No? Oh, I was talking to 43 because I fully.
Oh, sorry, dude. I was reading the chat.
About.
Tell me, say it, man. I'm sorry.
That's
what
cool.
were you going to say?
What were you going to say? It's probably gone now anyway, man. I was talking about the World Cup. It's all good. We need Tangent on here so then we can like blame Tangents on some other thing.
But, hey, I got a question.
Blame Tangent anyway.
Yeah. When is he going to come on?
Oh, he's always welcome. He's probably asleep, man. That guy does the reverse.
I saw him
hour.
reposting not long ago. But yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Well, yeah, Tangent, if you're listening, get your ass in here, mate. We want to hear what you have to say. But he's been busy, man. He does streams with Crypto 7 and Late Show, of course.
Smashing it.
And he's a busy guy, like does lots of streams. So shout out to him for putting in the effort and with the Tang Gang and all that stuff. Oh, speaking of Tang Gang, did you see all the NFT mints? There's all that Staker Chad stuff. And there's a whole bunch of free mints and things.
Okay.
Man, they're doing it every day. Like there's literally just free NFTs if you've got whatever it is, 69,420 HOA. If you've got a bunch of Hex Funks, I think it is. And there was that Robo Rhapsody, the fully croissant guy who did the metaverse thing. He had this whole bunch of these Robo Rhapsody robot things, and man, those guys are busy. They're like cooking like 24/7.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, like unless you're sitting at your computer all the time. It's pretty hard to keep up with all that because you miss a couple of days and it's all gone from you. I don't know. So I full credit to Tangent for keeping on that so hard. He's doing amazing.
Yeah. I just
love
saw
his consistency.
Quinny Jin said minimal Tang Gang shill. So all right, fair enough. Yeah. The crowd has spoken.
I agree.
Where's the oranges at? Yeah.
No one's got anything against the Tang Gang. No one's got anything, but
I love it.
I don't mind minimizing the shill.
That's cool, man. There's so much to talk about. Oh, no, I'm not shilling. I just sort of say, I think it's good for adoption. I think meme coins and things like that overall are good for adoption. A couple of things we need to chat about, bros.
I'm not into it. I just want to make that clear to everyone.
That's cool.
I'm not into the Tang Gang. I've got nothing against them. Go nuts. Go nuts.
Some people like certain meme coins and some people don't, but that's the beauty of crypto. And I think we have those sort of tenets where it's like, it's your money, you can do what you like with it because it's literally you're in control of it. So I'm sort of an absolutist like that. If people want to like the Spice Girls or whatever, and I'm kind of like, that's shit music, why are you listening to Spice Girls? But it's like, what am I going to do about it? It's like they probably don't like heavy metal, so it's just different choices.
Yeah. Look, I started this whole channel exists because Unwrecked Pirate and me started the Hex Late Show over 3.5 years ago almost. And we started the Hex Late Show because we saw Hex, and at the time we were just starting to really understand it in depth. But we saw Hex. We realized that this was something different, something that didn't exist in crypto. Uniswap was just coming out, had just started to be used, Uniswap version 1 for the 6 months previous. We was just seeing all this change in the industry, all this innovation that we hadn't seen before. And then we saw the Hex contract, and we just saw how different it was to everything else in crypto and how different it still is to everything else in crypto. Guys, don't forget. Let's not ever forget. There's no other crypto where you've got people who are committed for 15 years and actually committed for 15 years.
Yes, definitely. That is a very good point, isn't it? That there's communities in it for the long haul.
Let's never. I will always be talking about how I think Hex is something special and not to sleep in Hex. And when people get wrecked down the track doing other stuff, and I'm not saying that anyone is going to get wrecked on, you know, Tangang stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when inevitably in crypto, people get wrecked. That's just what happens, man. People get wrecked.
It's opportunity cost as well, because I have thought about this a little bit, because it's like, it's one thing if you've got like a free mint and you're paying like 70 PLS for like an NFT or whatever, like that's literally fuck all. But some of these things are like, you know, 250,000 Pulse, 369,000 Pulse, 15 million Pulse, and it's like, no, like that is precious Pulse. I'm keeping that shit because it's the opportunity cost. If it does the 50x, you're just paying
now is the
10
time to
grand
be
for
accumulating Pulse, man. PulseX, Hex, like it's the time to be accumulating this stuff. And if you want to like have a little bit of extra stuff, but all the other stuff,
but be careful, of the opportunity cost.
Like
that's
like I guarantee you, people who are going to get wrecked in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, who got into Hex in the last 3 or 4 years, right, and made long stakes, I guarantee you those wrecked plebs, the ones who actually end up being wrecked plebs, they're going to get saved by their own stakes in like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years time. Those stakes are going to save their asses from their own stupidity. Lucky them. Lucky they got into Hex, eh?
Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
It's all about that proportion of your, like, what you're putting in as well. You know, like I don't know if you listen to, I know you listen to Adam Stokes occasionally, but you know, he really talks about that, is, you know, how much you're putting in and portioning that the right way. And if you want to take a scratcher or whatever and you know, take a gamble somewhere, do it, but with bugger all. And that's what a lot of people are saying they're doing. But I think everyone is trying to take your pulse, and they're doing anything they can at the moment to, you know, put these things out there that might slowly their bag up and get
they're greedy for it.
So
they're greedy for it. They're trying to take your pulse. That's exactly like people, like, not accusing Tangang or anything. I'm just saying, like, people in general, they're coming up with new coins. They're trying to do things because I think they are greedy to try and accumulate because they know the value in it.
Yeah. No,
sorry
100%,
to interrupt.
No, I agree. That's exactly right.
One point I was going to say, which is, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, right? And some of you might just be like, of course, this is obvious, but for other people, maybe not. So when you're looking at like Bitcoin chart, right? And you're like, oh, okay, it's doing well. We're making higher highs here. Higher lows and higher highs. Like, it's going off. People are bullish. Like, let's go. And then, so a lot of that was to do with the BTC ETF, the BlackRock spot ETFs. So that's the speculation surrounding that. And then, so one of the thoughts is maybe that the BlackRock Ethereum ETF is sort of been proposed, and so then you might see some similar action with Ethereum. And I think part of the narrative was that Ethereum might be one of the best buys, you know, of this cycle, because Ethereum is just, you know, it's going to the flippening and all that sort of stuff. But if you look at the Ethereum BTC ratio, right? So this is ETH BTC. It has been going down since the merge. And I think 43, we talked about this a while ago. But as a ratio, you would have been better off in Bitcoin than you were in Ethereum. So this is the price of Ethereum versus the price of Bitcoin, right? So as it's actually making lower lows, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And so when you start to think about that ratio trading mindset that we had in the early days of PulseChain launching, where it was like, you know, 200 pulse per hex and things like that, you can start to plot any asset versus any other asset. Yeah, for sure. But this is like with TradingView, right? You can literally go, oh, you know, somebody likes Link or whatever, and you can just put like a hyphen and then go, so versus Ethereum, how is Link going versus Ethereum? It's actually not doing a lot. So maybe in the last little while it has, if I go on the dailies or something like that, you know, it has. But, you know, when you start thinking in terms of ratios of like, if you had all of your money in stable coins, then the price is just the price, you know, as a ratio to $1. But if you're thinking about like, if you were holding it in ETH, versus if you bought some link at this time, you would, and then you went rotated back into ETH, you would have more ETH, you know. And then but you can do that ratio with anything, right? So if you're looking at, say for example, that what we were talking about, Pulse Hex, here we go, and then you price it in Pulse. Hex has actually, you know,
is that daily?
this is
Can we
the daily.
condense it up to see where? Okay, so
overall, the trend would be that, yeah. So that's where I sort of did that trend before. It almost looks like you could argue that it's rolling over. So if you were in Hex from the start of PulseChain, and then you rode it all the way up to, well, where we are now, but even back to a couple of weeks ago, and then you rotated it into Pulse, you would have more Pulse than if you started by putting it in Pulse. You see what I'm saying?
Say that again.
Yeah. So because the ratio of Hex to PLS has been going up, if you went in and you put in 10 grand and you bought Pulse here, if you put that same amount of 10 grand in and bought Hex, and then you
swapped it,
rotated it into Pulse, you would have more Pulse here than if, you know, with the same amount of money, because the ratio has gone up. So because it's gone up against Pulse, and there may be a point where this changes, but you can do that. You can plot different assets against each other as a ratio, and I think that gives you a better.
So what's the how many? Have you clicked? Yeah.
I can go back to that. Hex Pulse.
How many Pulse per Hex?
At the moment, 183, 186.
And what's that recent all-time high?
242.
Okay.
And it was started at 100. You see what I'm saying?
So the people who sold their Pulse for Hex at the beginning,
yes,
and got their sacrifice Hex back, that was actually a good move, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because I heard people talking about that. I think I heard Johnny Chaos talking about that at the very, very beginning. He just said that he had sold some Pulse to get his sacrifice Hex back.
His PEX, yes. Yep, that would have been, as it turns out, that would have been
a great move, because that was probably when Pulse was at a 3x to saccharate. And
I don't think people realize how well P-Hex has done. I actually think it's done really well, because people were, before PulseChain launched, people were saying, oh, well, it's not going to be anywhere near as worth as much as, you know, as eHex. And not only is it worth more, it's like, it's done really, really well, because this is the chart. Like it doesn't have the history of eHex where you could say, oh, it's gone down 99%. Like this is all the history of P-Hex, and it's basically been up and to the right the whole time.
I think we're all here for Hex, right?
That's versus
Pulse. Yeah,
that's versus Pulse. So I should qualify that. So in terms of like getting more Pulse,
zoom out. Can you zoom out on that in USD?
Or in USD?
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just talking about it in terms of a ratio. I should clarify that. I said that at the start, but like, so I'm talking about whether you have your money in Hex or have it in Pulse. Even if your interest is trying to accumulate more Pulse, you probably should have had it in Hex.
Can you zoom out on that chart a bit?
Just this is the whole thing. Hex in USD.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
the all-time high. Like it's going to be interesting when we get an all-time high on this chart.
It's like 3 cents, right? Like it went to 3 cents right at the start.
There was a wick there that went up quite high.
But 3 cents, and what it's at, what 1.2 cents? Like a 3x is nothing. Like,
I think with that wick,
it's
like in the
even in US,
cents. I think it's like 4 cents with that wick. Are we counting?
Oh
wicks?
Yeah, the wick. No, I wasn't counting wicks. Sorry,
not counting the wick.
No. because you can't catch a wick. Like if it's low liquidity asset, someone dumps or buys as a fat finger buy, then the bots will bring that back down pretty quick. But even in USD, I still think this is a good looking chart. And if you take it from say October, since the booze cruise, shout out to the Aussies at the meetup.
We did it. Look out.
We literally turned it around. We did it, everybody. Our partying was what turned it around. 16th of October.
Wouldn't you love to
going up?
Wouldn't you love to see an all-time high in PulseX before the end of the year? I'd love to see
if this flies though, it is, if Pulse flies, Hex is just going to go bunter, I think. Like honestly, with that much liquidity there,
the bonding
and across, the bonding, and then across with, eHex as well. People, FOMOing into that. I think,
Even PLSX looks like it's bottomed. I mean, that was in PLS.
I'm pretty sure we have all round bottomed, unless something bad happens with the case coming up.
So this is PLSX in dollars, and it looks like it's bottomed. But even as a ratio against PLS, it also looks like it's bottomed. So in terms of if the uptrend is here, so people are thinking, maybe PLSX doesn't have all of the narratives or whatever that PLS has, in terms of being a gas, on chain, like a necessity for transacting on PulseChain. But as the volume goes up towards the bull market, and all of the bots kick in and people are minting NFTs and going crazy or whatever, all that volume is going to do a lot for the buy and burn on PLSX. So as a ratio, even buying PLSX might be a good way of accumulating more PLS, if you think of it that way, as a ratio.
Yep.
Anyway,
cool, guys, I've got to head off. Enjoy.
Oh, okay.
Your
worries,
weekend.
Bro.
You too, man.
Because now we've got a 3-hour gap between you guys. You in Perth. I'm not sure where you are, Hex Enthusiast, but you in Perth, Dozer, and me in Victoria.
I'm somewhere in between. So I got half an hour difference with you, 43. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think I got it. Yep. Cheers, guys. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for coming on, 43. I really appreciate it.
I wish I could stay a bit longer, but I've really got there's a line that I can't cross. I need to get home. I need to go do what I do.
It's cool. Got to do what you do.
No worries, man. No worries.
Catch you, man.
See you later.
Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Guys. Cheers.
Always like your insights. Thanks, man.
Cheers, man. Hey, while we're on the topic of looking at those charts and talking about maybe what people might want to get into, what do you think at the moment is the easiest way to onboard new fiat? I was talking to someone about that today, and I just thought I'd bring it up as well. But the bridges sort of for people that aren't as fluent as maybe you and I, the bridge has gotten a little bit more difficult today.
Bro, let's pull that up and let's talk about it.
Let's do that first.
Let's just first of all, let's just quickly have a look in the chat and make sure that we're not missing anything crucial. Maybe just have a quick look while I bring this up.
Yeah, but I'm still doing that bit on my phone. I haven't logged in on.
That's cool, man. It doesn't look like there's heaps of people.
Darb's gone to the
replay
pub.
Gang.
Yeah, Darb's gone to the pub.
He's gone to the pub. Damn, I wish I could join you, Darb.
He's getting us steaks and beers.
Oh, that sounds like the go. Except for the last time I went to the pub with Darb, we've been drinking all day. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go full screen for this because this is funny. Hang on a sec. I got the wrong thing going on. Too many buttons, man. Too many tabs. So last time we've been drinking all day, right? Like on the booze cruise, smashing beers, having a good old time.
Yeah.
And I think you bought me a Jackson Coke. We switched to the spirits.
Yep, that's it.
You don't drink so much beer, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then we go on the pub. We're having a few more beers and this and that. And then so Claz wants a espresso martini. I get the espresso martini. I did not hear the end of it, man. From Dav. What's this fancy drink? What are you doing? What are you drinking, buddy? It's an espresso martini. Like, I didn't want to get a coffee. I still wanted the booze.
Needed to perk you up. It goes with the copper bath, man. The espresso martini.
Yeah, I don't feel like I should have been, chastised or ostracized for my espresso martini. Yeah. It's not like I hadn't already had like a dozen beers or whatever, but he was just like, no deal. That's
judging you by your
Get
drinks.
Out of here.
Come on.
Yeah. So I still remember that, Dav.
That's gold. Yeah.
All good. Let me pull up that thing that we were just talking about with the bridge, which is far more important than me talking about my my espresso martinis.
Yeah, no, that'll be cool.
Okay, so we were talking about this. Oh, sorry, we didn't even talk about that. Man, there's been so many things going on. We're talking about the tax thing, the changes, the ATO website, check that out. The regulations, the proposals, we should comment on that. Go and do it if you can. One thing I was going to say is, okay, so if you go to PulseChain.com and you go to the bridge, there has been some changes, not unlike if you go to go.hex.com. In fact, it's exactly the same. So whether, for whatever reason, the RH has decided that this is a more decentralized way of doing things. And I tend to agree, actually, because IPFS, if you look into how it works, it is a more decentralized network, and it's not, so it's more censorship resistant. Have another beer. It's more censorship resistant because you can't just shut down the server, right? You can't just, like an entity can't just come along and just go shut down that server because it's being hosted on a more decentralized network. So it's more censorship resistant, it's more decentralized, and from a user's point of view, before you went to gohex.com, and now you can still go to gohex.com, my malware thing, that's annoying.
Lovely.
Okay, bad example. You can just run the server. Okay, if you go to the GitLab, we're talking gitlab.com, pulsechain.com.
Yeah.
You can literally just download either the bridge server, the Uniswap front end server, or the Hex server. And it's literally as simple as just downloading an exe file and running it on your own computer, and it goes to the same thing.
Yeah.
There is another option, right? If you go to oh, come on. Oh, okay. My malware thing is just going crazy.
So things like
it's gohexapp.com.
Okay. Yep.
So gohexapp.com has got a it might be because I'm streaming, I have to do some other thing to make that work, but gohexapp.com is basically a redirect for gohex.com. So all it is like, if you click on one of these links, it's a slightly different server. It's this IPFS server, and someone has just got that hash and done a redirect. Like, they've got their own domain name, and then it redirects to that hash. So that's all that is. And so the same thing with the bridge. Instead of just going to the bridge site, like you can still go pulsechain.com, hit the bridge, and then you can just click on this link. But okay, cool. For some reason, my malware didn't have a problem with that. So it's like one extra click
like that. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's the same.
Sweet.
It's the same user interface. It's like one extra click, depending on how.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's
I thought
hosted.
that was, I hadn't looked into it properly yet on a computer, so I thought it was it had to be a downloadable version.
No, it's the same with GoHex. It's literally like. So, I mean, that's how I do it anyway. I go pulsechain.com, I go to just click bridge. See, that way you know,
100%.
like it's actually just bridge.pulsechain.com. So it's not that much harder to remember. But and then you just literally click on that link.
Whatever you do, don't Google
just,
PulseChain bridge because you'll get the scam one. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I was trying
around,
to. That's what I was trying to avoid by always going through pulsechain.com.
Yeah, agree.
That way you know you're clicking the proper links. But yeah, from a user's point of view, it's literally just like one extra button, or you can host it on your own, like the bridge server.
Yeah.
GitLab.com, PulseChain.com. And so that is not terribly difficult either. You just click the executable and run it there. So this actually makes it more decentralized, more censorship resistant. And it kind of, I think it is more in line with the tenets of true DeFi. So at the expense of making it slightly more difficult for the user, right? Yeah. And that was the whole gold key KDP debate that they had last week. Shout out to those guys. That was actually a really good debate, I thought. Gold key brought up some good points. KDP slayed it as usual. And she's really smart. She came up with some really good points as well. But I think for me, it's that whole Polo Los Dos thing with the tacos. People may not know that reference, but why not both?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to have a cry and say, oh, I have to go to the bridge site, I have to click one extra button. It's so much harder for my fingers to I agree. That's a pretty shit argument. So, but if you do that, then there is literally a redirect. It's called, I think it's goplsbridge.com.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. I'm not going to bring it up because it looks exactly like the it looks exactly like the normal bridge site you're used to, but it is goplsbridge.com.
Yeah.
So now we have both options, right? We literally have, instead of just a normal bridge site that you can go to, you've got the IPFS version, which is more decentralized, more censorship resistant, and you've got that. So you've got both options.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So, and I mean, at some point they might just...
Yeah, I agree with all the censorship resistance and making it, true, truly decentralized and stuff. That's what we want. But yeah, for some people say, what's the absolute easiest way? There's things like, is it Change Now or something like that?
Change Now. Yep.
Is that, so how much are we talking? A lot of slippage using something like that? Or
I think there's a couple of redirect sites. There's like buypls.app.
Yeah. Okay.
Which basically uses Change Now.
Yeah. And so that's just going straight from Ethereum and basically buying PLS that way, right?
There are ways you can put in just AUD and get Ethereum, and then you can bridge it in, like using your credit card, like Visa or whatever. I think GoPulse. Oh, even with this one, I'll bring this up, man. So I'm not just looking at it.
The only reason I'm asking this stuff is because there's going to be a lot of people, when at the moment that we talk to and we say we believe that things might start going well soon, they might want to get in, and I don't want them FOMOing and then clicking the wrong buttons. Whereas if there's something a little bit easier, for and then we can show them, or when you get time to go and see them personally, you might be able to help them out. But yeah, just the easiest onboarding way right now is, I guess, what I'm getting at.
So I would probably, I was actually thinking about doing this, is creating some tutorial videos.
Yeah.
I actually did it for Lamont's thing.
Yeah.
So if anyone cares, I mean, it's probably no big deal, right? But
Yeah.
if you go to DeFi with Doza, the channel, and then playlists, educational, full playlist. So I did this thing where I was like, this is for Lamont students, talking about wallet security, setting up,
Sweet.
your Trezor. And yeah, it's just like these 2-minute videos. And I was like saying, this is how you use MetaMask and or Rabby. I might actually do a separate one and do it a little bit better and talk about Rabby. This is how you provide liquidity and do yield farms. This is how you create HSIs like native or HSI, encapsulated stakes, how you mint your Hedron and all this sort of stuff. So just like 3-minute, 2-minute tutorial things.
Yeah.
I was thinking about maybe doing a few more of those, but the shout out to Crypto Coffee and Hodl Dog, because those guys have kind of already done it. Like I might do my own, just why not make it, slightly different and with an Aussie accent, but Hodl Dog's ones, but Crypto Coffee has got some really good ones as well. So people should definitely check that out.
So what's this one? I can't
buy
see the
PLS. It's called
URL.
buypls.app, and it's basically just a redirect, and it's got the Change Now widget in there.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can buy PLS.
And so you
with
just
USD.
put an output address and put in your credit card, and it'll take some fees. Obviously, you're probably paying.
I've done it with
3%.
I've done it with Ethereum.
Yep.
It's been a while. I don't use this way personally because you probably pay like 3%, 4% or something like that. And maybe you have to still convert it to ETH and then bridge it in, or maybe you can go. This doesn't even seem to be working, to be honest. Maybe you better go to the Change Now website, or it could actually be my ad blocker or something that's stopping it.
Yeah. So for people out there, that's if you're going the way of easier. Usually there's more fees, or you're paying a higher price slightly for the PLS. It'll have a premium on it. Whereas if you're doing the bridge, you pay a bridge fee and the gas to get it over. But then you're getting the best rate, and you can use Petius to do your swap, and you're getting the absolute best rate on the Pulse. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, there's other ways. There's gopulse.com. You can do swaps and things like that. One of the
so
things,
they're using Change Now as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Have a look at Gold Key. Shout out to him. He has got, I think it's on his hub. He's always doing stuff like this, man. He's always trying to get adoption. But there's like a PulseChain hub, bento.me/PulseChain. It's got a whole bunch of links and stuff, and there'd be like guides and things like that. And then there'll be like you'll be able to find on here fiat on ramps. Here we go, changenow.app.link. And there's other ones, there's sexes and things like that, cross-chain swaps. I used one the other day called Pulse LN.
Yeah. I've heard Tangent talking about that a fair bit lately.
I used this the other day. You could only do $1,000. It was limited.
Okay.
It says here $1,000 max. But you can and there's
USD.
a little bit of trust involved, USD, yep. There's a little bit of trust involved, but what it does is you can bridge it. It's kind of like a bridge where you're bridging from BNB to Pulse or Optimism to Pulse. So if you're trying to get the absolute cheapest way, you could use a centralized exchange and buy Ethereum on Optimism and then send it to this, and then you get Pulse direct to that wallet. And I think it eliminates
for some people
having gas on the other side. It may be, so that's why I was thinking it's better to do this as a tutorial and just go, this is how you use Pulse LN, and people can figure it out. And if they don't want to, then they can go somewhere else. But the other way, and I don't know if we should spend too much time, like,
no, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
We can do this on a separate thing. But Crypto Coffee for sure. I think he has it pinned.
Yeah.
This is the contract address for wrapped PLS on Ethereum.
Yeah.
So you can actually buy. You can buy PLS on Ethereum. You don't even need to bridge it in. It's wrapped PLS, right?
Yeah.
If you want to bridge it in and get PLS on the other side, and then you can, participate in the PulseChain, ecosphere and buy NFTs or do DeFi swaps, provide liquidity, yield farming, all this cool stuff. But if you just want Pulse, you can literally buy it on Ethereum.
That is actually the easiest way. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. That's the easiest way really to hold Pulse.
And that's a good way of the wrap version. And then when you bridge that in, it just automatically unwraps it, so you don't need gas on the other side.
Yeah, sweet.
Anyway, so we can
cool.
possibly do that and do some tutorials and things like that. But the bridge, I still think works fine. Like I say, pulsechain.com, click the bridge, click the IPFS link, and then you're there. So it's no real different. I'm still a fan.
Yep.
So having both options, I think, is a good thing. But we'll see, if it has some negative effects, or maybe if after the SEC case, maybe things will change again. But right now, it doesn't seem to be that much more difficult. Speaking of the SEC case, did you see? I think you might have sent me this actually.
Yeah, that's it's interesting. Can't find the bloke, can they?
The court notes that the summons. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Do you want to summarize what happened?
Oh, you've got it up there. That's cool. So basically, they're just asking the SEC to show let them know why they can't serve him. And I guess there's going to be a case about that.
If the defendant
what to do from here,
if the defendant has not yet been served, plaintiff is directed to show good cause why service has not yet been effectuated, and that's by the judge. So interesting. I'm not quite sure if that means that if he hasn't been served, they just delay it by another month until he can be served, or whether they just can the whole trial. I mean, or the hearing or whatever.
Yeah. So I listened to What the Hex earlier on, and they were talking, Papa Boner and DJ and that were talking about it, and they were basically saying that it could either get punted down the road a bit more, because the SEC shows why they should keep trying, or if the judge, for some reason decides that it's all a bit silly and they don't really have much grounds on it, then they could just can it. So we could go either way at the moment. If it gets punted down the road, that's probably that could already be priced in. People might just sit on it for longer. But if they say that this should just be thrown out, goodness me.
Oh, that's just a whole lot of hoopla for nothing, isn't it? After all that, if that's what happens, I suspect if having seen the wheels of legislation and things like that move so slowly that it's almost glacial, I would assume that they will just postpone it for a month or 3 months. You know what I mean? They'll just literally go, oh, he hasn't been served yet, I'll just reconvene in a month's time, because they're not in a hurry. I found with these sorts of things, they just drag it out.
They'll just keep going. We've seen the same thing with XRP. So
I could be wrong. Maybe if he's not served, they just can it. But my gut feeling is that they'll just extend it until he is served. And
I think he's pretty good at hide and seek, to be honest.
Yeah, he is. But
do you reckon he won the World Cup?
We kind of he won the World Cup for hide and seek. Oh, that's so funny. I have a theory as well. This is just to the aside, but whenever I talk to someone about playing ping pong, like table tennis, every person who I've ever met is the state champ
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
at table tennis. Like they always go, "Oh, I was a state champ back in the day." You're state champ for table tennis. Is there a state competition for? And you're like, oh, okay, and then you just proceed to just drub them at table tennis, and you're thinking, I don't think you were the state champ. Like, but I've heard that a lot, like from various like parties and things like that. I'm drinking and I met this guy and it's just, oh, you play ping pong? Yeah. I used to be state champ. Oh, yeah. And it's like after a while, I'm being suspicious. There's a lot of state champs out there for basketball, all sorts of things. And
so like when your mates go fishing and they caught a fish that big. So
yes,
they always
I'm
catch
very
one
dubious of the state champ title, but I reckon RH could be the state champ for hide and seek, no doubt.
100%.
He went to he was in Europe and all the rest of it. He's probably, I think he's still there, hiding out in castles. So, but did we shoot ourselves in the foot by? Remember when we couldn't? This is maybe just me, but do you remember when the Hex community were trying to put that lawsuit against CZ from Binance to say that we've been perpetually listed as 201 on CoinMarketCap, coinmarketcrap.com. So, and even when the price goes up, 10,000x and then goes down 99%, our ranking hasn't changed. So it's like immediately it's obviously
crazy.
Fake, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So in terms of market cap, like, because if market cap is just the price of the token times the number of tokens, like that doesn't make sense for it to be static. So they served CZ, my memory was that they served him, Johnny Chaos, by Twitter, and they set a precedent for being able to serve people by Twitter. So in our fervor and our passion for doing what is right, we may have shot ourselves in the foot, because then if that precedent's set, then they can just be like, bro, we served you by Twitter, and that precedent was set by hexagons.
Exactly. But RH doesn't read DMs.
Exactly.
He doesn't watch TV or listen to radio.
Yeah, I have a bit of a problem with that, because it's kind of like whether you can say that you don't read things or not, but I don't think that works. Like if you get a letter in the mail and you haven't paid your speeding fine, and you just say, I never got it, like they will take your license away. Like they'll just be like, you should have checked your mailbox. Like
I think it's a bit different with getting served, but
true. Good point actually. And that's why they do that whole thing where they're like, hey, don't I recognize you? And then, in American movies, I don't know if that's real or if that's just like, because I've seen too many movies where they're like, they pretend to like know the guy and get to him to dox himself. And then they're like, and you're served.
Throw it at them. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a real thing or just a Hollywood thing, but I'm assuming it's real based on my Hollywood movie upbringing.
Yeah, that's it. Give me 2 secs for hang on.
No worries. So that's interesting. One thing I was going to chat about was the PulseChain forum. So let me first of all just double check the chat. Finbear, what's in the house? What's up? Is that a thing? What's in the house? I don't think it is. What's going on, Finbear?
There is
Ginny
so
Quinn.
much more chat going on today. This is the biggest chat we've had, I reckon.
Holy shit. Yeah, there is too.
In the past few weeks.
Ollie says Klaz deserves the best. She does deserve the best. That's very sweet of you to say, Ollie.
Yeah, for sure.
There's lots of cool stuff here. Spread the love. State of the Western governments is truly retarded. Yep. I don't think I would disagree with that. Crypto Callow says, did I hear the SEC can issue a summons via an NFT to a wallet? I was going to make that point. Thank you for reminding me.
Wow.
I heard that is possible if you tokenize that, that summons and airdrop it to like literally every wallet on PulseChain, then maybe that's a way to do it. But Costa records all butchers have award-winning sausages. That's true, isn't it? They're all
And
like
best
gold
pies.
medal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And bakeries have the best pie in Australia or something.
Yeah, like the Miami Bakehouse is known for the best pies. And you're like, who is there like a pie convention where like I'm a bit sus on that. They're all state champs of pie making. Okay, I was going to bring up this PulseChain forum because I think it's really cool. Shout out to Golki again, I think, who started it. Golki does a lot for the community, so yeah, I appreciate that. But have you seen this, the PulseChain.forum?
No. Actually, yes, I logged on just before we came on and I saw some talk about it, but I haven't been on.
You haven't been? Okay. Yeah, so it seems pretty cool, man. Like it's got like a bit of a Reddit feel but it's just all PulseChain stuff. There's like people can start threads, and I mean some threads, you can take with a grain of salt, because I think anyone can literally make threads. So just be a little bit careful on clicking links and things like that. But some of these guys are like well respected in the community, like RH Max. And so it looks like he's got this thing about developers for hire. That's really interesting. But there's heaps of topics here. New way to access the PulseChain bridge. New way to add PulseChain to MetaMask. New way to get
That's a good thing to have in your bookmarks, just to look through as, a bit of
big time.
Bit of homework every now and then, just to have a look through and see the changes. Because there's so much.
Well, maybe you can ask questions as well.
Yeah, that's right.
You can just go in and be like, thoughts on the communist token, and be like, what about this? What about that? And there's people like Dipcatcher and Goldkey and RH Max. I mean, these guys are smart guys. Like, they're full stack devs, and to have access to them, it might just be another way of doing it.
Exactly, and hopefully it doesn't get as messy as Telegram seems to get. Because it's so hard to keep up with that and get through it. Once again, if you're sitting at the computer all the time and you can just keep tabs on reading it, but yeah, these groups on Telegram are just insanely quick, just posting all day, and a lot of spam.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Telegram is really hard because you get targeted by bots and scammers and things like that. So you've got to be really careful. There are some good channels that you can get into, and people can be quite helpful on Telegram. But I would say always do it in public. Don't do it in like private DMs on Telegram, because that's generally a scammer. Just do it in the public chat, and then if it looks like you're being scammed, normally someone will like pipe up and be like, "Bro, you're getting scammed."
No,
but like if you do it in public and you're asking questions.
Exactly. I actually had a call from Alex from Hedron and Buck in the same day on Telegram, which were both scammers, by the way. So if you get a phone call from someone, it is not that I answered.
Call. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. I didn't understand what you were saying.
Sorry, they were ringing through Telegram, like a voice call.
No shit.
And then they started messaging me just because I commented in one of the group chats. And yeah, they just started DMing me and ringing me non-stop on Telegram, and it's like, whoa. And people could fall for that so easily. I know that a lot of people won't, but some people would be like, oh, they're that into their product or their project, they're ringing me to help. And
maybe people fall for that shit, but I mean, come on, like, you got to be skeptical by nature, and that is just not likely to happen. So, and
there must
just
be
don't
a market
answer.
for it, because they're doing it. So,
yeah. It's a lot of people get scammed, but yeah, don't click on links, don't answer DMs from people. Just stop. Just stop. If you think that you're talking to Richard Hart, you're probably not.
Exactly.
It's my guess.
Exactly.
That's funny. I just wanted to say that the Grayscale investment BTC premium is now less than 10%.
Oh, we're getting close.
9.83. So it was 40% from memory. Yeah, 48%. So this is the grayscale discount. And RH always said the bull market, well, maybe talking about the hyper bull, as Tangent likes to call it, can't really kick off in earnest until you can no longer buy discounted BTC from Grayscale. And it's down to 10% now. So interesting.
It's been climbing rapidly, well, coming back rapidly, I guess, back to there. So, I think it's all starting to happen very quickly. Have you looked at the T-share rate lately on hexfi.io?
I haven't.
The speculative estimate. It's looking good.
No.
And just quickly, I heard Crispy talking about the fact that there's going to be a possible big jump up to 32,000 by the end of this month.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, apparently there's...
So I haven't looked at this site for ages, but...
if you go to share rate, the third one down.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see that big spike about to come up.
Oh, okay.
Just to the left, the other one. You see that curve. You see the red, and then it goes into yellow. So that's where we are now.
Gotcha.
Oh, no, that's not where we are. Sorry, no, it's back. Where are we? Sorry.
No, this says the 20th of...
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
November.
Yeah, it is. Yep, that's the one. So apparently there's a couple of big stakes coming up that look like they could be ending soon. And there's going to be a big jump. So on, I'd recommend I've just staked some, and I heard DJ, I saw on his Twitter that Credides, if that's how you say his last name, I can never remember that. He even DJ, he even did it on the new front end and staked some. Cool. So it's probably not a bad time before that jump.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
And I reckon that's why we see Hex doing so well against Pulse. It's only going to keep going, I think, because of that rate, how fast that's climbing.
Yeah, man. I do like this site. I did get into it when it first came out, and I was like loving it, but it's been a while since I've checked it out. So that's interesting. It's got some really cool stats on here. And you can look at a bunch of stakes and things like that.
We've been talking about like meme coins and that, and maybe a distraction or, siphoning some PLS. The thing is that while everyone's distracted, the T-share rate's still going up.
Still just kicks on. That is true.
So, a reminder for people to be, keeping an eye on that, because that'll run away from you. And then at the top of the ball, or if you miss, like Tangent says, everyone round trips their bags. He's talking about that a lot lately. You're probably better off being staked, because the chances are you might round trip most of your bag. So,
interesting. And 43 was talking about with staking actually protects people sometimes from capitulating at the lows and things like that. So
definitely,
that's one to think about. I just recently saw this site. I haven't gone into it much, but I will have a look at it. It's the fame.io. They've got a stats page, and it looks like they have a whole bunch of stats on whether people are going short or long or whatever. And I was just like, I don't know, maybe just because I'm a nerd, I was just like, stats, let me look at this. So that I do think that's perhaps possibly worth checking out in the future. I just thought I'd bring it up then. But there might be, there's some edge in these sorts of things, like whether you see big whales kind of going short or long at a particular time. Maybe there's something you can glean from that. I'm actually not recommending that people put shorts and longs on because you'll probably get liquidated. But
watching
just
their
using
actions.
that data and seeing like, oh, that's interesting. Or just go all in.
Yeah, I reckon the old DCA is not a bad idea. But I just think the distractions and that sort of thing at the moment, watching the pumps that have happened recently, you don't want them to get away from you. So
yeah. I think how we're talking about before about the ratios, like whether if you were rotating into a certain coin or whatever in the hope of getting more of a different coin, if the ratio of that asset is going up against the asset that you want. I mean, that's like a trading mentality, but you might want to do that with like a small portion of your bag, like maybe like, I don't know, 20% or something like that. You don't have to do it with your entire bag, like liquid bag as well, because you might have your stake bag as well. So there's things like that you can do, but at least if you've got a strategy or like a plan, I don't think just randomly just aping into green candles is the go.
That's right.
And there is a bit of opportunity cost if you're thinking like, I'll go into this thing and then the thing that you actually want starts skyrocketing. So you got to be careful, like in terms of regret minimization. You might just have to be like, I'm going to go into this asset. I'm aware that it could go down in the short term, but I just want to secure my bag because I just don't want the risk of it just running too far against me. And then in the long term, I'm bullish. Like we're talking years, right? Like you could just be like, in 5 years' time, then I'm going to be, looking at the price, but there's no point looking at it day to day.
Exactly. Yep, yeah. I agree. No, that's it. Pretty
cool, man.
Pretty proud of my daughter actually. Because she is holding some DeFi on a hardware wallet, and it has been for a little while. And yeah, she came up to me just the other day saying, she wants to get some more because she's heard me talking about it and whatever, and wants to load up a bit more. And it's like 8 years to go, she could be at a pretty good position if she holds that out and it comes off. So it's really cool.
That is really awesome, man. That is the metaphoric testicular fortitude thing that I think Tatcha again was saying that the other day, but it's like, you got to have some metaphorical big balls to be just like, look, the DESI discount is outrageous. It was like 40% or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and if
it
you're
was
bullish on Hex,
pretty full on back then. 40% or so.
Yeah, and it's like if you want to stake it for 10 years, it's like maybe just think about getting some DESI, or some PDESI or whatever. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
That's a good way to go. I'm just looking it up now. So DESI on PulseChain is 17. Where are we? The stake backing, is 38% discount, and on ETH it's 32. From Mint it's 9, so 9% discount on ETH and 17% discount still on PulseChain. So
this portfolio.
Look into maxi.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's look into Hedron, look into maxi.com. Yeah, that's right. I remember this site. I was talking about it and I was like, this site's awesome. And then I completely forgot about it. 33% discount, is it at the moment?
Where are we?
EDESI?
Yep. Oh, yeah, it is. Yep. Exactly.
So I actually like this portfolio.maximus.cash one as well. I think this is possibly only on the Ethereum side, but if you click on the icon like DESI, it tells you there as well. 33% discount.
Oh, there we go.
And then you can just go bang, maxi 6% premium. Holy moly. Lucky 19% discount. So as they get shorter,
so
the lucky 7 years, 3% on Trio, and base is 6% premium. Outrageous.
So why are the numbers different on those two sites? Because I even saw the Maximus guys posting about this one.
They're both by the Maximus guys. I think they were about the same, weren't they? Because
you said one of them was
7%.
7%. Was it Lucky? Lucky on PLS isn't 7. I reckon there's a glitch going on.
Maybe. I've always used this portfolio.maximus.cash one, and it seemed pretty good.
Yep.
I haven't looked into Maxi for a while, but this 57. So you were saying eLucky, because on here it says it's 57% premium, right?
Yeah, you said one of them was 7% on Lucky, I think.
Well, Lucky, no, that's just. Oh man, this is saying 20% discount. Conflicting.
Yeah, There's very
conflicting
conflicting.
stuff.
I don't think it's discount. We could just look at. I mean, we don't.
Oh,
need
hang on.
to,
Maybe I'm looking on the Pulse side, man, because P Lucky on, if you go PLS, is negative 19%.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'm looking. Maybe this is the Pulse side.
Yeah. So that must be only Pulse side, not ETH.
Because this is saying Lucky is negative
Yeah.
19, and this is saying it's negative 20.
So that doesn't have Ethereum's side on it, does it? But it says Etherscan there.
Ooh,
That's confusing.
good question. Yeah, I thought this was only the ETH side, but maybe it's only the Pulse side. People can figure it out. You know, do your own research.
Handball that one. That's too hard.
I've had too many beers.
Oh,
you should not be
I've
taking
disappeared.
advice. Oh, you've
I had
just
that many.
completely
I had that
disappeared.
many. I'm gone.
You've just faded into oblivion. You've just been Thanos, mate.
I reckon I've lost. I reckon the battery's died or something. Yeah.
Nah, that's cool, man. Well, it's good to see your face and to say.
I can.
But no, good to chat.
Where
to
are
you,
we
man.
at? We finishing up because otherwise I can get that going again. But
nah. Let's wrap it up, bro. It's been an hour and a half, and
good stuff.
People are a few sheets to the wind already, having a few beers.
No, it's
on
been
a Friday.
It's been good.
So
good to chat about all
For
that.
sure, man.
I just I reckon people should not sleep on staking Hex or buying the perpetuals. That's my take.
Interesting.
For today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Yeah, it's easy to forget about some of that stuff. Yeah, I would say just, as my outro, just pack your bags and get ready, because people cry a lot about, oh, I wish it would just go down and there would be some sort of dip so that I could buy more or whatever. But then when the actual dips happen, they're crying because the price has gone down. So
exactly.
It's like, if you do see a dip, like if this, because we're talking, this SEC case is coming up soon, and if you do see some dips, well, then that could be your opportunity. It may not be, but don't cry about it later. If it then goes up above SAC and you go, oh, I wish it would go down so I could buy more. You have to almost take the emotions out of it. And if you want a target where you want to accumulate a certain amount, then and the price is dipping, well, then that's your opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not going to stop accumulating. I think everyone is hopefully people are on that page. But yeah, I know. So I need to tick this off when Tangent comes on one day, because I'm talking about him a bit at the moment. But what's his latest saying? Do you know what his latest saying is?
What was it? It was like,
if the price is going down or if something's going wrong, who cares? Buy more.
Who cares? Buy more.
So I think,
so funny.
I'm not saying those words because I'm not telling anyone to buy. I think it's not bad advice though.
Look, to add some other side to that, there is a point where if it's going down and you're thinking, well, if it's going to go down even lower, maybe don't just buy more, wait for it to go down. But then there's risk associated with that, right? Because you can think it's going to go down and you can miss it and you end up getting less because it moves against you. So then that's why the DCA thing works. So if you are, who cares, buy more incrementally, who cares, buy more as in stages, in steps. Don't just go all in and then be like, who cares, fat finger, buy on that, because then you might literally be crying later. So I still think DCA is good. And then just try not to just zoom out a little bit and just accept that no one's going to buy the absolute bottom, and that you have to kind of just lower your average buy. That's literally all it is.
It's all about perspective, because the prices at the moment, even though they've run up, it's coming to my head where it's like, oh, it's starting to get away, and it's like, hang on, it's nowhere near getting away. It's not even started really running. It has ran, but nothing compared to what I hear we're gonna, you might see. So if you want to feel any more bullish, Adam Stokes's crypto campfire that was on last night, was really good.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, just sort of reminding people about that. So
Let's keep the positive vibes going for sure.
That's right.
Love it. All right, mate. Well, yeah, good to chat to you, Hex Enthusiast, and
You too,
I'll
bro.
see you hopefully next week. And shout out to the
see how we go.
chat. Thanks very much. And we'll see you all next week. Have a good weekend in the meantime.
Yeah, you too. Chat was on fire. So cheers, guys. See you later.
Thanks, chat.
Yeah.
Legends.
Catch you.
Catch you guys.